had gotten very far away from.
Yeah, and we don't need a church to have faith. You
Right.
don't need a church to have a relationship with God. Something that I've said all along, and something that Father Russ also says, our dear friend Father Russ, is fond of saying, you don't need a church.
Right.
You can have a relationship with God. But it is interesting that from what I've found, and you would sort of on the surface would almost think this would drive people away transsexuals would be driven away from the church or away from God.
Driven away from the organization.
Right, driven away from the organization, but closer to God, it seems.
See, that's where I was a little strong in during this 2-hour spiel. I didn't let it overtake me.
Yeah.
I just was set on my way, and I was had to do what I was planning on doing.
And you know what? I'm not surprised by that, because I think that another common thread among transsexuals is you've been through so much, and you go. There's that self-acceptance thing that we talk about all the time. You do so much soul searching and so much thinking about this up to the point that you finally make this decision. This is what I'm going to do. That you have a lot of conviction.
Exactly. It's exhausting.
Yeah.
From the beginning to the very finish. In between, there's a whole lot that a lot of people do not.
It's not going to be easy to talk you out of it.
Exactly.
You get the opportunity to do some really deep soul searching. Yes. Because people don't enter into this path easily.
No, and it's an interesting thing, and it's a question we frequently get in our panels. Is students will often say, "What's the most difficult thing about transitioning?" And the answer, you sort of I think they expect there'll be some, we'll have to think about this and come up with an answer, and it'll be different. It's always the same answer, and it seems to be universal. The most difficult thing is self-acceptance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And beyond that, everything else is easy. but it takes a long time to get there, and it's hopefully less so for the newer generations, but they probably have somewhat less baggage. But as for myself, it took me a long time to reach that point of self-acceptance.
Right.
And once having gotten there,
and it tends to go hand in hand with the question of, well, when did you know? Oh, I knew when I was much younger. I wasn't okay with it for a while.
Yeah, exactly.
I didn't have that self-acceptance for a while.
Yeah, it's hard. The human animal is a complicated beast, and trying to come to terms with things. It's so easy. I did it for many years. The denial thing, the go into hiding.
It's easy to spend a decade hating yourself because that's what you hear from the outside.
Yeah.
It's in subtle ways, not even in overt ways, just in subtle ways.
Yeah. Yeah, it takes a lot to get to that point. And by that time, no priest is going to talk you out of it.
Yeah, but still, the thing that fascinates me from the way I was raised in the Roman Catholic Church, that you don't want to turn sheep away. Yeah. How can you be a shepherd to somebody if you send them away?
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense.
You invite the sinners into the church so that you can preach to them, so that they'll hear the good word, so that you can potentially get them on the right track.
Yeah.
Whatever,
That's how it's supposed to go.
Well, and obviously you and the priest had a different opinion of what the right track was.
Right.
But from his standpoint, turn somebody away is...
Yeah, somebody that the church sees as a sinner. Obviously, we don't consider ourselves sinners for this. We are God's children. I know that.
And, sorry. Speaking of which, big news on that front.
Oh, okay. Go ahead. I know I've been.
No. I don't have a story about it. It's just something I remember seeing that the Pope came out and said that the biggest problem the Catholic Church has is the sin within.
Wow. Wow.
He's admitted, he hasn't made any apologies, is what the family groups are saying, but he has admitted that all this backpedaling and all these defensive statements, and the whole comment about it was just wild gossip, public opinion, that kind of stuff. He came out recently in one of his little speeches, and he said that, paraphrasing, of course, that.
Sure.
That the root of the problem, that the biggest problem the church faces is not the criticism from the outside, but the fact that they haven't addressed the sin within the church.
Wow.
That they have to not just find, I forget the word, but penitence. They also have to find justice.
Wow.
So.
Well, bravo.
We've been hard on Pope Benedict, and so I wanted to make sure that.
And we'll give credit where credit is due.
Yes.
Good. Bravo, good for him.
We've yet to see anything concrete come after that, but
it's a step.
Baby steps. Yep.
Yeah, and that's a good thing.
He's now they've been accepting the resignation of priests around the world who've been involved in either cover-ups or directly involved in the molestation of children.
Sure.
So yes, kudos where kudos.
Absolutely. Yeah.
The thing everybody's been calling for is to own up to it, face the problem, and deal with it.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. That's a good thing. That is really a good thing.
I know we're hard on the Pope Benedict, so have to give him credit where it's due.
Absolutely.
But
yeah.
So yes, the church turning away parishioners.
Yeah, it doesn't
bothers
make much
me.
sense. Doesn't make much sense, but it certainly hasn't stopped us from having faith.
No.
It hasn't stopped me from having faith. But again, I do, like to point out that the churches in this area are actually, most of them are pretty good.
The majority of them are really. Yeah.
We actually have another phone call. Good evening, NLC Trans. You're on the air.
Hi, I was wondering if you're scared of God.
I'm sorry?
Scared of God?
No.
Yeah.
Absolutely
Are you
not.
guys? What's that?
No, absolutely not. Should we be?
Well, I was just thinking because you can't really be gay with tits and a dick, so.
Yeah,
I
right.
was wondering if that's the.
Goodbye.
What's interesting is you might be able to tell whether we have tits or not, but you can't tell from where you're sitting whether or not we have dicks.
That's right. And guess what? Some of us don't. But anyway,
Gonna play Where's Waldo?
Okay, grow up. Please, just grow up. I mean, that's high school stuff.
Well, yeah, I mean, to take it to the next level, that basically means whomever you want to date, you'll be straight.
Yeah. I don't know. It's like, come on.
Education.
I guess, I would want to stress that we love getting phone calls. We really do. And we will happily take phone calls from the opposition. We'll take phone calls basically on anything, but you know what? Don't do that. Don't do the childish stuff. It's like, let's see if I can swear on air stuff. Come on. It's just
This isn't broadcast. The FCC doesn't regulate it the same.
Yeah. It really is childish, and don't do it, please. Just, if you want to talk to us. We'll be happy to field your questions,
Within reason.
Yeah. It's just, anyway.
Well, along the lines of childish,
Okay, go on.
from The Advocate, there's a story about a gay marriage foe challenging Iowa campground policy.
Okay, go on.
Last year, Iowa Supreme Court basically said that you can't deny marriage to same-sex couples in Iowa. So same-sex couples are allowed to marry. Well, Senator Merlin Bartz, who has previously called for the county recorders to defy the state Supreme Court ruling and deny marriage licenses to same-sex couples, now this Republican from Grafton, Iowa, wants to question a state parks proposal that would include gay families in guidelines that allow families to pitch more than one tent on a campsite. So basically, the campground policy currently says that you pay X amount of dollars per campsite.
Right.
If you're a family, you're allowed to pitch more than one tent.
Okay. Oh, okay, I got it.